Here is my Cathedral Windows quilt hanging at the Festival of Quilts. I'm going to show you how I made it. There are good and bad news about Cathedral Windows pattern. The good thing is that you need only one size squares for it. The bad news is you need a lot of squares, twice or maybe 3 times more than you would normally use. For this little block, this is as an example, you would need 4 squares for the background, 8 squares for these like a framing pieces, and 1 focal square or accent. I will be working with 5-inch squares. It's very nice to, if you have charm pack or layer cake, or charm pack where you don't even need to do anything with it, just take it and use it. With layer cake you will need to cut it by half and half. I won't be showing you how to cut fabric. You can use your own preferred method, or you can use pre-cuts. The main thing is all your squares have to be the same size, whether it's 2.5 inches square, 3 inches, 5 inches, whatever. It's up to you. Mine are 5-inch squares. The first thing to do is to iron the squares that will be doing this job in half and make them into triangles. I've already done it, and it took me quite a while because I'm making a very big quilt. So the next step is to baste 2 of the squares onto the background square. I use the largest stitch length that is available, and it's 6 millimeters. I start from the right angle corner, so I don't start from the tiny corners and then it's kind of the machine chews them up. Because these triangles are made of the same size squares as the background, it's very easy to align them. All we need is just to make sure all the edges align nicely. And I baste it with 1/8 of an inch from the edge, because I don't want the basting stitch to show on the right side when I sew the blocks together. Because this stitch length is 6 millimeters, I do it quite slowly, and it moves very fast anyway. Now I turn it around and add another triangle. Again, need to make sure that all the edges align. I like to chain piece my work so I don't waste any of the thread, or as little as possible. So I don't cut that one off, I'll just add another one. Now I can cut it off. After we've basted all our squares, we need to start sewing them together. I start sewing them in pairs, like that, and make sure that the triangles are oriented towards each other. It's very important. If you don't do that, you'll have to call your Jack the Ripper and rip it out. So again, I prefer to start from the corner that doesn't have all the triangles meeting together. Again, they have to just match nicely because they're the same size, it's not a big problem. And this time we're sewing them at 1/4 inch, just our normal patchwork seam allowance. Yeah, you don't want it to be like that. Definitely not. It has to be like that. Right, and now we need to get our iron. So what we do now is ironing these pairs of squares that we just sewn, and we need to iron the seam allowances open because there is so much bulk otherwise. There's one. I iron them closed first and then open. So you have two now, two and another two. So we will need to sew these guys together as well. Just follow the pattern that the corners have to meet, like that, like a zigzag. That's why I didn't take this off the machine, because I can use this as a chain piecing leader. And like that, we build the length that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I've got 8 here. I'm making. Okay, right. See, I nearly made a mistake. Need to make sure that we don't do it like that. It has to be like a geese, flying geese pattern. So I just turn this around. There we go. And put it, sew it together. And cut the other one off. So basically stitch, iron seam allowances open, and basically repeat all this until you have enough of strips for your desired length. Okay. After we have all our strips ready, the next step is to sew them in pairs. Making sure that they match correctly. Right, this is not correct. Alright, so we need to make sure we have squares. All we need now is to sew them carefully so the seam allowances match. Because they ironed open, it's not as easy to feel that the seam is matching, so we need to be quite careful to do that. this is all done. Now I need to iron this seam open. So I will be back in a minute or two. Now, when my piece is all ironed open, you can see we have nice squares. We need to fill them up with our lovely accents. What I found quite useful is I'm just rolling the whole strip loosely, because it's only tiny. Well, not quite tiny, but small enough. I roll it up all the way, because we will be working only on one square at a time. And I will be adding these lovely K-facet accent squares. So we need to get with our needle up to the corner, so I can just start and make a little couple of stitches. And leave needle in a downward position. Now we take our accent square, accent fabric, and put it in the middle of this square, making sure that the corners match the lines, like 4 lines, up, down, left and right. And this is where the magic happens. We just bend this piece of triangle that we ironed in half, turn it over, and because it's bias, it stretches really nicely and covers the whole edge of the square. And then we start sewing very close to the edge. You need to do it slowly, turning the fabric, turning our work, so the stitches are sitting nicely along the edge. That's why I rolled all the fabric that is not in use, so I can easily rotate it and put it under the into this space under the machine. There we are. We finished right at the top where the corners meet. Turn the whole thing around, because we will be sewing this way now, and we keep repeating the same thing over and over again. So now we've done one side, we now turn this side over, making sure that no fabric, there's no space kind of in between. Make sure that like this side covers this side. Let's remove the naughty threads, and again it lies down very nicely in a gentle wave. And let's sew this one. Okay. Alright, we've finished with one. So we've attached half of first square. Now we take in another one and just keep attaching only one half of each square all the way along our strip of blocks. This is all very repetitive job. And that's what we like, don't we? Nice and slow. Now we're coming up to the end of the strip with all the squares, sewing them on one side, yeah, two sides even, and I have all the work that I've done so far rolled up, so it's really easy to handle. After we've done this, just need to turn everything around and sew the other side of all the squares. Basically just repeat what we've just done. I quite like doing this pattern. These curves come out really nice. Just don't need to rush and do it nice and slow, steady, so the stitching doesn't go over the edge. After we've stitched the squares in all our strips, we need to stitch these strips together. So we'll have to do that, and then we will need to add another squares into these middle pieces that were previously separate. Okay, again, this is just a normal 1/4 inch seam allowance. The bigger your piece gets, more difficult to put these blocks in, but we don't have to rush at all. Just do it slowly at your own speed. You're probably wondering what are these little dangly things I have here. They are my markers. Before putting all the blocks onto the quilt top, I laid them out first to make sure that no similar patterns are next to each other. So they all have to be in specific order. And then I collected the whole row and put a pin through all the layers with a tag. Like this particular one has number 2-3 on it. It means it will be between the second and third bigger rows. So these rows have one more piece than these ones. So these are kind of in between rows. That had a tag number 1 for that one. This number 2, this is number 3. There we go. That's number 3 tag, and this is 2-3. Goes between second and third. And I will be taking one piece at a time. It's just all the same over and over again. Just need to make sure that this part is not in the way. Maybe roll it a little bit. And off we go. After we've done all the inner blocks, you can either add more color into these side half squares, or just turn the white triangles as if there was a colored square in it. I will leave the edges white because I want to do some nice quilting inside of them. So for that purpose I just turn the edges of the triangles just like as if there was another colored square in it. So we have nice like a lemon peel shape. Not the lemon, orange peel. What doesn't matter, it's the same citrus shape in there. And that's the last step before quilting. The quilt top is now ready and it's all on my long arm. I decided to quilt what you call a peas in a pod pattern in between the squares and a flower pattern inside of each square. I'm using only one thread for it, kind of beigey sandy color. It's Glide. Yeah, it's called Mocha. Mocha number 20727. And here is my little helper. She always likes to help me, don't you, Tiggy? Yeah, her name is Tiggy. She's the oldest in the family. To quilt a pea in a pod pattern, I use arc ruler. It doesn't fit exactly the shape of my cathedral windows, but it's close enough. I go very carefully first around the shape, very close to the fabric, to the fold. And then go back around the other side. Just need to be very careful not to catch. If I catch it, I have to undo it all the way to the corner. Yeah. The next round I use exact shape of the ruler, make sure it ends and starts and ends in the corners, and it makes it a little bit closer. It's like an echo in the middle and matches corners. And next I'm doing circles, and for circles I'm using a manual mode on my Amara and do it slow enough. Okay, and after these circles I'm moving back to regulated mode. So I do this piece in a pod pattern all the way on this row and all the way till the end, and then I return back. And I do them as many as they fit in my working area space. The next step, I'm quilting freestyle flower inside of each square. I have a setting to the regulated and coasting, so when I don't do anything, when I don't move the machine, the needle keeps going up and down. Now there is a very thick area around here in the middle where all the 4 blocks are meeting, and the needle or the foot wouldn't go over it. See how it pushes it, just wouldn't go over it. So I'll just lift the foot a little bit and then it goes over. I find the middle just by eye, don't mark anything. It's quite easy to see where the vertical lines cross approximately. It doesn't have to be absolutely precise. I start with a little spiral, like 4 rows. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now I can snip these threads off. They come out very easy. And let's make a little flower. It's all freestyle, free motion quilting. Okay, just 8 petals. The bobbin sounds quite noisy. It looks like it's gonna run out soon. Alright, I'll just fix the thread. And that's it. It takes about a minute to make one flower. So this is my very last advance. I'll see you in a minute. Well, for you in a minute, for me probably a couple of days, when I decide what to do with the border. I don't know what to do with the border yet. I'll need to have a think. I left it all the way around undone because I wasn't sure what to do with it. Alright, so see you in a bit. I decided what to do on these triangles. It's just a kind of part of the flower, similar to what was in the middle. And that's it, it's done. There we go, last stitch on the long arm. There we are. So let's look at the statistics. There we are. 14, well, almost 15 hours. Pure quilting time. It doesn't take into account my stops and starts and thinking process. So I'd say 30 hours. And 445,000 stitches. Wow, I thought it will be around 500,000. Close enough. Now let's take it off the long arm, shall we? And next step will be to trim all this and bind and attach a sleeve at the back for the Festival of Quilts. I tend to hand bind my quilts for the festival, and I do it with invisible stitch, or they call it like a ladder stitch, I think.